Payday, payday, you want payday.
All-time greats come to be some of the most talked about and criticized figures on earth.
With the golden boy, the deck is usually stacked in his favor.
However, when your results are as good as your promises, doubters and naysayers soon fall into a pit of perpetual silence.
And we can't be satisfied. The fans are, oh, he's fighting bums. Oh, he's moving up and he's fighting champions.
So in a new attempt to capture fight fans' attention, we take a look back over what famous faces of the boxing world have to say throughout the incredible course of Canelo's career so far.
And that's a shot I've literally knocked a lot of people down with.
They stopped the fight. Referee Tony Weeks has jumped in and stopped the fight.
It's not every day we witness a pale-skinned fighter from the streets of Guadalajara rise to become king of the boxing world. But as a once-in-a-generation icon, Canelo has managed to rise to the pinnacle of boxing.
You will hear the words, and the new undisputed super middleweight. The only difference is right after that, you'll hear the words, and still undefeated.
All hail King Canelo! Viva Mexico's first undisputed champion!
Assess his power?
I mean, at first he wasn't really punching like that. That's kind of why I started stepping to him a little bit, but I just got caught. I don't think I fight all that much like him. I have a different style, but I can do different things, so I try to implement different things in when it's needed.
With a record that speaks for itself, his 60-fight pursuit hasn't seemed to stop in the way of dangerous challenges, starting out all the way back to Carlos Baldemir and Jose Cotto.
And he is wobbled by a left hook, and he's in trouble, and Cotto's dumping him.
Up until now, when he steps in the ring with an opponent that many view as his most dangerous yet.
I'm telling you right now, if he can beat a guy like B-Ball, a bigger guy that can box like B-Ball.
I felt that those were easy ones for me because of the reasons I pointed out. This one is nothing about that stuff. There's a guy that could beat him.
However, back then, he'd often be accused of ducking opposition that are still in their prime, though his willingness to fight top names in every bout has now disregarded this mentality from the majority as he stepped up in every bout.
Even though it was a painful experience, I still say to this day, I'm still on 2 paracetamol a day now.
So he didn't really have to accept the fight. He could have fought somebody else and maybe had an easier time, but he wanted to test himself and see if he's really among the elite fighters.
Canelo's first attempt to gain real-world recognition came in the form of a showdown with Sugar Shane Mosley in the Mayweather vs. Cotto undercard.
Lands power shots, one right after another. Boom, boom, body punches. This is fierce. Very big puncher for 154 pounds.
I was kind of surprised by him because he's pretty well-rounded for a fighter, a young fighter like that. I was trying little tricks with him, and he wasn't falling for anything. He
was still really good, and I was impressed by him even when I was in the ring with him. I really was trying to use my experience and just kind of walk him down because I knew that he didn't know as much as I did.
Showing glimpses of improved head movement during the Trout fight, Canelo started to evolve as a boxer, entering deeper into elite territory.
What's next for Canelo Alvarez, the hottest name in boxing right now?
His orders were, I want Martinez, I want Mayweather, or I want Miguel Cotto.
But it was his next bout at the highest level where he learned a painful lesson, which led to the next chapter in his career.
When you went into that fight with Canelo, was he pretty much what you expected?
Canelo's, he will be champion again. He can fight.
Because when Canelo fought me, he was in his prime. And when I fought, I was an old man.
It is an interesting rematch with Floyd. Floyd would still be favored. And Floyd, I think, looks at Canelo and goes, that guy can't beat me, so if he comes back, maybe Canelo.
That loss affected him in a major, major way. I know firsthand. It affected him in a major, major way.
The elite level bouts continued, and as Alvarez managed to scrape through the occasional, not so convincing win, he soon paved the way to greatness from there on.
If I want to be able to beat Alvarez, I feel that I need to bring a lot more steam, a lot more extra to the kitchen, but I want to bring more.
Never seen Kirkland try to play rope-a-dope. That tells you how hurt he must be.
Right uppercut continues to land. There's a perfect straight right hand, and Shorely's going to stop the fight.
What really was there?
That I just felt like there was more to Kirkland that I could have been able to give.
Not just showing an ability to patiently wait and counterpunch his opponent's offense, but also now proving to carry fists of dynamite in both hands. Alvarez's knockout finishes put the final cherry on top of the cake, making him an even more exciting attraction.
Get me right in the spot where you finish people. It was just one of them. I have to bite the bullet and think, good shot. Canelo was a lot better than open me up and find more gaps. That's why I think Canelo hit harder.
They just wiped that rehydration clause out. I heard that he walked into the ring at around about 185 pounds. I could see that when I was hitting him, it was affecting him, but not as much as it would affect someone who's the same weight as me.
After Chavez failed to oblige Canelo in an all-Mexican shootout, his next foe in line was one that very rarely failed to impress.
Golovkin, you are next, my friend.
But Golovkin has done enough to win this fight in my card.
However, with a controversial finish, and then more controversial news to follow, the rematch came with fire from not only the fighters.
Dude, how about Canelo testing hot for fucking
clenbuterol?
It's a small trace amount, and everyone's like, oh, the fight's off. Trust me, it's boxing. That fight is not off.
This is utterly ridiculous. If in the end you're saying that it's not a masking agent, that it's not a performance-enhancing drug, that's not a good enough excuse to stop a fight of this magnitude.
You don't believe the story behind?
No, just sorry, I'm a smart guy.
The first fight is not one that he can sell too many times and lie to these people like he did the first time.
I want to start by saying you also lied to your fans because you said that he would knock me out under 6 rounds. What happened there?
With a positive drug test somewhat tainting his legacy, Alvarez showed spite and a newly found adaptation to come forward, taking his level of aggression to newer heights.
Very different second fight. It's going to be close.
Fielding, Kovalev, and Smith all had their fair shake facing Canelo's wrath, and even standing significantly bigger than Alvarez. They all failed greatly.
Why was it so difficult to keep him at bay?
He's just smart, to be honest with you. He's just clever. He closes ground up without throwing. He sets little traps so he keeps you thinking constantly, and before you know it, he's closed the ground up.
His power wasn't massive. He was a decent puncher, but nothing I probably expected bigger to get over it.
I think Canelo is a better fighter than Andre Ward?
100%.
Why so?
He has a stamina, he has good legs, he has speed, he has IQ, everything.
The way Canelo has managed to adapt, change his style over the years, been pretty impressive. And with the back-to-back wins over undefeated champions, his position as pound-for-pound #1 has become quite cemented.
This is what Canelo does to opponents. He breaks down opponents and makes them weary of the shot that are coming.
To achieve what he's achieved, to have the money that he has, and to have the ambition and drive that this guy has, makes him an incredibly special athlete.
He's like fucking Thanos of boxing. It's like he takes everything from you. Even if you beat him, he takes everything from you and uses it against others.
Upcoming bout with Dimitri Bivol will tell if this star is really ready to mix with fresh talent at bigger weights. But until then, we can only stand and reflect on what a career it's been so far for this explosive Mexican monster.